Welcome, everybody, to an episode of Highest Awakened Potential. If you're new here, my name is Ro Ferrelli, and I am a conscious leadership coach. I specialize in supporting entrepreneurs and thought leaders to step into their purpose, to master their mindset, and to lead their life and their businesses intentionally. So today, I'm really excited to have this special guest interview with a longtime friend, Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee is somebody I've known for over a decade. We'll get into that in the interview, but he's an international best-selling author, I'll have you know. He wrote the book, Your Divine Purpose, A Journey to Fulfillment and Legacy. He also has 2 meditation albums. He's a media personality. He's a transformational facilitator and a motivational speaker. Today, we're actually going to be speaking on life purpose, which he is an expert in. If you are somebody who has wondered what your life purpose is, or maybe your life purpose is changing, or you're shifting into a new season of life, then you're definitely going to want to tune in to our interview today, because Kevin is an expert in this field and he's written a book on it, and he has so much value to share with you guys today. It's such an interesting topic, and I just can't wait for you guys to meet Kevin. You can follow him on all of the social medias, but most importantly, just take note of his website, which is www.iamkevinlee.com. I also wanted to mention he has been extensively trained with John Maxwell and Lisa Nichols. Those are thought leaders in the personal development industry. So I think that's definitely noteworthy. And so I'm just thrilled to have him here today. And I look forward to hearing from all of you guys what you thought about today's episode. Kevin, I am so excited to have you here today on the Highest Awakened Potential podcast, videocast, blog, newsletter videos. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm really excited because you're going to be talking about a topic that is really personal to me, and I think to so many people, on following life purpose. But before we get into that, I wanted to just take a step back, because we've known each other for a long time. And we haven't always kept in touch over the years. We've kind of like moved in and out, but we always seem to like kind of meet up.
Yep.
I want you just to take us back for a minute to where we were like over a decade ago and how we first met.
That's what I was trying to think the other day, when the first time we even met, at somewhere here in South Florida. And I can't remember, but I know at the time I was running a what I call a spiritual center of light, the Metaphysical Chapel of South Florida. And with the pandemic that happened in the world, I released it back to the universe. But, you know, the ministry of me still continues. I think it's interesting. The universe brings people into our path, people like you for me and me for you, in times when there's a need. There was something that you might have needed, even just a few words or something, or an experience that I was providing, and you partook in that. And then also just the light of friendship that you brought for me. It was nice to know that people found value in what I was sharing. There's a fulfillment of something I needed in my spirit. And it must have been how it began, but I can't remember exactly.
No, that is really accurate. Actually, yes, I met you as Reverend Kevin Lee, right, at the Metaphysical Church in Fort Lauderdale. And I started actually taking my first mediumship training classes in one of the upstairs rooms.
Yes.
Yes, and you guys would have like a monthly psychic fair, and I would come to that on occasion. And we almost collaborated once on like a Sunday school teacher position. You were looking for a Sunday school teacher. And it's actually so interesting, because at that time I was really trying to wrap my mind around how powerful manifesting can be. And I had asked the universe for a very specific thing, and that was to teach spirituality in a way that would be really easy and stress-free for
Wow.
me. And
Wow.
then you offered me like this job teaching Sunday school to the kids.
Oh my
And it
gosh.
ended up not working out, but it
Yeah.
happened like within a day or two. And I was just like, wow. And you knew it too. Like you picked up on it instantly. You were like, hey, can we talk? Like, da 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 da. Like the vibe was
Wild.
so there. So yeah,
I love it.
that's
Tuned in,
how
turned
we
on.
first
That's
met.
what I say. We were tuned in and turned on by what we needed and what we were desiring. And so there was something I must have recognized or sensed that I needed to literally share this opportunity with you. And it's funny because friends have told me that they're like, you have the most uncanny ability, the things that we need. And they're like, you're texting me today of all days. I literally just asked for that. And I'm like, well, I just had this sense that I needed to present something to you, and somehow it would benefit you or me. And they're like, it's just really amazing because it's manifesting that.
Yeah, you do. That is, I would say that's a unique zone of genius for you
Mhm.
to just really pick up on what people are wanting,
Mhm.
needing, desiring, and without them having to say anything,
And,
you're
and
just instantly picking up on it.
I'm gonna say this real quick. What I didn't think about this to share earlier, but I want to say this now. That's one of the most basic techniques when I teach students how to develop their intuitive ability. I tell them, when you think of someone that you haven't thought of in a long time, or someone pops in your head and you just can't seem to get them out of your head, the thought of them, you need to text them or call them and share whatever is rolling around in your mind. What's popping up for you? What are you sensing? Just share it and just say, hey, I'm just reaching out to you. You just were in my mind and I was thinking about this. Does that ring a bell for you? And I'm telling you, more times than not, it will mean something to the person. And that's how that alignment and manifesting begins. I love that. I love doing
Yeah,
teaching that. That's a
yeah,
great tip for people.
that is a great tip. Thanks for sharing that. So, well, let's just jump in.
Sure.
You're gonna be telling us about life purpose,
Mhm.
and I'd like to just dive right into that. I'm really
Go for it.
curious, like what led you to start building a career out of teaching others how to find their life purpose?
In my book, Your Divine Purpose, Journey to Fulfillment and Legacy,
Yeah.
I wrote this book after I closed my ministry and started really just kind of getting out there, putting my feet to the pavement and sharing my message. What happened was purpose came around in my life, and it really locked me into my metaphysical work because, as I mentioned in the book, there's a mystical experience that happened back in 2007. Long story short, it turned out Mother Mary guided me into Dania Beach out of Fort Lauderdale one day. I had to drive down there and I found this dying church, the Metaphysical Chapel. It was a tiny little church. Nothing was going on. They were about to close their doors literally within weeks. And in with what business savvy I had available, knowledge available, I was able to rescue the church and grow it into a successful church. But that experience, 6 months later, I attended a spiritual gathering and a message came through from Mother Mary that confirmed it was her who guided me to this church. And she said to me, Kevin, you have free will. You can stay or you can leave. But if you stay, you don't realize your potential that you will change the lives of tens of thousands of people in your life. You are important in this world. We love you. And I had never been spoken to in kind ways by anything religious, and much less a spiritual person of old stories. I had never prayed to Mother Mary. I knew who she was, but I felt it was like a transformation happened. And that message in the experiences of that gathering, that literally changed me and transformed me mind, body, and spirit that evening. And I realized I'm not the same person I was before I came to this event. I'm not afraid of death. That somehow she's still alive. There's this consciousness and a loving nature to her. So I'm the same nature and I'm the same essence as she is. I'm a human that will one day transition like she did. And so I will continue to live. And I thought what I had learned was not really the truth in life. I thought the end of us, I just didn't understand the afterlife. But what it did for me was it showed me that I had value, that beings in the spirit world of life, these angelic beings, saintly beings, loved me, even though society, family, church, everybody had told me how bad I was, evil I was, how against God I was, and how imperfect I was. And yet someone in spirit could find value in me. And I realized, you know what? If my life can be changed by this one little experience in a little spiritual center in Hollywood, Florida, whatever just happened for me, if I can figure out a way to turn that into a purposeful effort to helping people change their lives, I want to do that. And it's really, I didn't have the words purpose back then, but I can see looking back that what I was doing was being very intentional. I developed a plan. I had purpose, and I wanted people to have purpose in their life, because without purpose, you're just going all over the place. You don't have a map, a road map, as I call it. Now I've got bigger, fancier, sexier terms for it, but really you need a life map, and you need to have plans. Your dreams matter. The dreams of childhood matter that people told you, Kevin, you're crazy. Little Kevin, just put that on the shelf. You need to go to school and become an accountant. That's how you're going to survive. Well, maybe that's not what my soul needs. And so I take people back now through I have a coaching program, and I get people to look at, what are your talents? What are your skills? What are your values? What matters to you most? And what are your dreams and possibilities for yourself? Let's revisit those and see where the foundation can be built, so that now we can start saying, well, if you're really good at public speaking and you love to serve, what are the opportunities available to you? Well, Kevin says you can become a minister, you can become a public servant, you can become a president of a nonprofit that you create. How can you use what I'm going to say, what God has given you, what the universe expresses through you, in a way that serves others, but also serves your soul journey? And really, that's how all of this purpose discovery process has unfolded over the years. And it's really a lot of what you'll find in the book. You'll find different perspectives of my life. I opened up. It was not an easy book to write, Ro. I shared a lot of darkness from my life, but I did it because I can feel the emotion already. I did it because if I can't stand as an example for what you can overcome, why bother doing the work? And so I exposed some old wounds. I shared the darkness and difficulty I went through. And if this kid from a cow, a chicken, a pig farm in Texas can overcome and walk through the fire and can find value in myself and love myself, and also teach people how to do that, then I mean something in the world. I'm doing good in the world. And that matters to me. That's where all of this came from.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know you were from Texas. I'm
Yes.
actually from Missouri, so I come from small town roots as well. I have a lot of family that owns farms,
Oh,
and I can only just imagine, like, I was home recently visiting, and I can just imagine, like, sometimes when you're in these communities and they're not exposed to many different new things.
yes.
I mean, just in like a one-day conversation visiting my cousin, she's like, "You've taught me so many things." And I'm like, "What did I teach you?" And
Beautiful.
it's just in conversation, very normal life for us. I think I might have mentioned about the S&P 500,
Oh,
like
wow.
some investments or something. And then I mentioned a food, and then maybe something about red dye 40. I don't know. But it just like totally opened up her mind. And
See?
sometimes these smaller communities, they don't get a lot of access to new information and new
Yeah.
things, and it's scary to them, and it can be kind of narrow-minded when there is a light worker and somebody that's this unicorn that is just this light unicorn spirit and is different. And so I can only imagine what hell you probably went
Yeah.
through growing up in a
You can
small
read about it. It's there. And I'll
town.
say this, the work you're doing right now with me and allowing me to shine a little light into your community, maybe today this will reach into those small communities and will
You
expand
never know.
somebody's sense of
Yeah.
reality. You never know. Things like this are important. So I love it. Thank you.
So important. Yes. Well, I want to hear, because we talked a little bit about intuition in the
Uh-huh.
beginning. And how does intuition kind of tie into following your purpose
Well, I'll
or
say,
knowing and
yeah.
discovering what that is? How are those two connected?
Well, intuition is an expression of your soul. I say it's your connection to God, the God source, the universe, because we literally a physical expression of the universe or of the God source. We literally are made of stardust.
Yeah.
And we happen to have our own vehicle called the body temple. And in that is the living life force of God, the creator, the universe. And so we are an expression of that. And so when we tune in, tap, I can't remember how I say it, but tap in, tune in, turn on, and all that. When we sit in meditation, we're literally going back to source, and we're calming our logical mind that rattles on, and we begin to these awarenesses begin to pop up into our mind's eye, into our consciousness, our awareness. Feelings begin to rise up. We begin to sense in a much finer way what's around us. And so that is important because your mind can tell you, Kevin, you need to be an accountant. Don't pass this up. But my heart's
Right.
telling me, I beam when I'm in nature, when I have honeybees around me, when I am working in nonprofit garden oriented things, my soul beams. There's your answer. That's a great clue. If something makes you beam, your soul is literally beaming on a different dimensional level. And so it fills you with vitality. And that's where you need to focus your efforts, not in accounting. What makes you just beam? I love that word. I can't stop using it. But it's really the quickest answer to finding your purpose.
Yeah. Is following like what lights you up, what
Mm-hmm.
makes you excited. I remember a time in my life where I didn't even know what I was interested in anymore. I
Yeah.
literally just, all I did was go to work and
Yeah.
work long hours and come home, maybe get a couple hours of TV, sleep, and then do it all over again and maybe party on the weekends.
Yep.
And I didn't even know what lit me up anymore. I had to
I know.
make, I don't know if you remember like the old school computers where you could put a sticky note on the desktop,
Oh, yeah.
like the old Windows version. So I had a sticky note on the desktop of this computer, and anything that excited me, I put it on that sticky note.
Love that.
And after a month, I had like 4 or 5 things. And so I just started following those 4 or 5.
Wow. I love that idea. I'm going to steal that.
Yeah,
Your
totally
permission.
steal that because
I love that.
I don't even know where I picked it up, years ago.
Love
I'm
it.
sure I picked it up from somebody, but I was just like, I don't know what I like anymore. And I think a lot of people feel lost. That's why your work
You know
is
why?
so important
I
because people need this
I
so
think
much.
I think the reason why people don't know what they want in life is because they're afraid to look inside where the dark feelings are, the memories of how I was treated, the memories of physical or emotional or spiritual abuse that took place. I buried it and locked it away in the memories of my mind or in my heart, or my physical body has residual abuse energy. And so I think people are constantly looking out here into social media, into their phones, into the environment, busy at the clubs, busy on the beach, busy in life or in school, distracting themselves, serving others, because they're afraid to serve themselves. They're afraid to go where they've locked things away. I call them prisoners, painful prisoners we keep locked in the dungeons of ourselves. And that's where I take people. And it's not easy especially for men. Men don't like to go to heart focused places. And I find my women clients do amazing. They are willing to go there. So interestingly, I have a ton of women clients and a few brave men who are willing to go there and release some of the prisoners of pain. And that's really how you find your purpose, is to start seeing what's really been happening in your life. What do you love? Listening to the intuitive whispers of of what lights you up, looking at your notes on your computer that you put that make you light up. I think that's brilliant. And that's really at the core of purpose discovery. If you can figure those things out, those little basic things, the other, all the how to and the details, that doesn't really matter. You'll figure it out, because by then you're going to know exactly what lights you up as a purpose, and you will figure out the way to get there.
Yeah. I was curious. I think you had mentioned you had maybe like something coming up, like a workshop or some kind of program. I know we're ending on time here. So before we
Sure.
hop off, I would love to hear about that program and where people can find you.
Absolutely. And I know this was short today as just an introduction in your community, but perhaps we do a part 2 or part 3 on a different topic or similar topic. But I'll say this, especially for my purpose work, I have the biggest virtual event in my career. I'm nervous sighted, and I'll say I'm nervous and I'm excited. And I could even say terror-sided, because a little terror, because there's so many moving parts to my big virtual
I
event.
love that word, terror-sided.
See, if you make t-shirts, I want 10%. But I'll say this, the event is called Life on Purpose Live. It's very specific, Life on Purpose Live. And it's a 3-day virtual event where it is going to be very transformational for people, because it is an engagement oriented virtual experience. You're not going to sit there and watch me yammer on for 3 days. I will yammer and teach you, and we're going to have fun, but I'm also going to get you to do the work. So there's a lot of interaction between the attendees in all the breakout sessions. There's a lot of Q&A time that I build in, because it's critical that people understand what they're learning. And that's almost more important than what I teach them. And so I make plenty of time for that. There will also be panels of people that will be clients, former clients, that will speak about the transformations they've had through some of my programming, and just a lot of discovery. And there are going to be a lot of tears. I probably will cry on camera.
Oh,
I will take us to places that aren't comfortable in order to kind of move those old leaves away, so we can look at the truth in a safe environment. I build a very safe experience for people so that they can shine their light and share some of their truth with people of like mind who get them, people who are in the same journey of discovery. And this experience is really probably 15 hours together. And so that will be September 5th through the 7th. And these will be full day events. And what we'll do is I will share with you, and we'll probably drop in the comments and descriptions below how they can engage and be a part of that. And what I will say is I came up with a wonderful little gift for you all, for your people. I have a purpose discovery toolkit that has a spectacular meditation that is simply stunning. I'm very proud of this meditation, because it was filmed in 4K in Muir Woods in California. And I take you through the forest, and you hear me guiding you, and I
oh
help you,
my
I help you
gosh.
find aspects of your purpose. So that's one part of it. Then you come out of your meditation and you have a beautiful journal workbook, PDF that you can print. And then I guide you through a lot of the same questions and concepts to pull a lot out of you from your mind onto paper. So it's a free toolkit, and people have really, really liked it. And I'm very proud of it. And so that's my gift to your people. For those who are interested, we'll make sure that's available as
They're
well.
gonna love
Yeah,
that, Kevin. Thank you
good.
so
Yeah, you're
much.
so welcome. I know this was a quick introduction, but we can go deeper. Anytime you and your people are welcome, I'll make time to come back to you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for that, Kevin. I really appreciate it. I'm excited about this event
Good.
that you have coming up in September. I'll make sure to include a link to that so people
Sure.
can sign up for it and get more information, and also get that free toolkit that you're offering.
Absolutely.
That's a great start for anybody who is, wanting to dive a little deeper into themselves and really can feel that inner questioning, that inner desire to know what their purpose is. So thank you so much, Kevin, for
You're so
being
welcome.
here. Yeah,
I
where can
appreciate you.
we find you? Like on social? What's your social handles?
Sure. So I'm on most of the channels. And probably the best way to find me is if you go to Linktree, just put in the @ symbol and then I am Kevin Lee. I am Kevin Lee. And my website, super easy, iamkevinlee.com. And yeah, so I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and those are really my primary channels.
All the places. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Kevin. It was
Thank
really a
you.
pleasure and an honor to reconnect with you in this way.
Wonderful to reconnect.
Yeah. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Highest Awakened Potential this week. I look forward to hearing from you guys. You know what to do. Hit reply on this email or drop a comment below and tell me what you thought. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.